Oh, come on, come on. This might be my biggest Mythic Legions collection upgrade video yet, because even though there's only 3 figures here, I've got like a ton of figures out right now that I anticipate upgrading with parts that come with these guys. And also the mystery figure I got from the recent Four Horseman in-stock sale. He will be revealed soon. But first, let's unbox these guys. Starting with the Terpiculi. So I finally decided to get this guy because I had an idea for him. So let's get him open now. I've got no damn fingernails. All right, here he is. Let's take a look at everything he comes with before we unbox the next figure. So just right out of the box, he's super cool. One of the reasons I really like this guy is he's got this unique torso that supports 4 arms. That's very cool. I've got a really cool idea for just kind of a big monster I want to make with this guy. Next, we've got this awesome bendy, bony tail. And like, this is like one of the smoothest bendy tails I've gotten from Mythic Legions. Like, there's very little resistance and it just kind of feels nice to move around. We got a pair of bone swords. These are really nice. I know I have a few of these laying around, but these are the first ones I've gotten that are actually painted. Next, we got another cool bone weapon. And for that pair of big arms, we've got some open big hands. Looks very cool, reaching out. And we've got basically the same hands, but for the smaller arms. This very cool alternate head sculpt without the horns. And yeah, this looks awesome. I guess this is like a big cat skull. That's what it looks like. And it is significantly different than this one. It's not just the horns removed. There's also like a lot more of a gap here. And finally, a pair of bone wings. Very nice. Oh, is this? Oh, cool. You know, I had seen these in photos before. I didn't realize that this part was articulated. That's nice. All right, that's the Terpiculi. On to the next figure. Next up is Koi. All right, here's our boy, Koi. Let's take a look at him. Very cool figure, very excited to get him. He's like just this, I mean, he's like the coolest looking fish guy I've certainly ever seen. Sorry, Admiral Akbar. He comes with some really cool parts. Like I actually am going to be almost completely disassembling him because I want to give him the green armor from another figure. So that's gonna look awesome. And these parts, like all of these parts are gonna look very cool on other figures. All right, what about his stuff? So, we've got this very cool tail. This is like, I mean, yeah, you know, he's a fish. He's got to have a fishy fin tail. It's a nice, soft, semi-translucent plastic. Very cool. Got these really great shoulder pads that originally came with Broder. These are awesome. I love how huge they are. I'm not going to be using them on him, but I will definitely use them on another figure. And we got a pair of gripping hands with horizontal hinges. And a pair of gripping hands with vertical hinges. That is the bare minimum you want on a figure like this. He's also got these really great outstretched hands with kind of the webbing between the fingers. Very cool. And we've got a nice polearm piece, which I believe goes to this awesome, as far as I'm aware, new piece. It's very cool, like a kind of a, I want to say like maybe a whalebone spear or something. Or yeah, it's more like a glaive, I guess. You could, I mean, not much of an edge on. I guess this is kind of like a bludgeoning slash stabbing weapon. And that peg hole is very tight. Push that on a little bit more later, but yeah, got a very cool spear here that doesn't want to get in focus. Next, we've got 2 options for his back. So this is like the fins going down like his spine. So we have one like this and one like this. So these openings are for if you want him to have shoulder pads while still having the fins. I love that they gave us both of these options. You know, I could probably repaint one of these and use them on the snake guys. Ooh, that's interesting. We've got this cool neck piece that seems to be designed specifically for those back fin pieces, the way there's a little notch here. And we've got this great armored face option. It looks like, oh, this is actually, yeah, this is like a faceplate. So this will swap with the one that's on the figure. This is very cool. How many times have I said very cool? Oh, whatever. Oh, almost forgot. This nice sword too. I've definitely seen this before unpainted, so once again, nice to have a painted one. And also this little bottle that can clip onto a belt. All right, on to the next one. Vernalis Arden Scale. All right, here's our Snake Man, and he is looking amazing. So I do have the Ninian Infantry. I've got 2 of them. So this isn't my first Snake Man, but man, this colorway is just so, so good. I am very happy to have this guy. So let's look at his stuff. We've got this awesome like spell casting effect. There's a nice theme to his magic. It's all orange. And here's his magic bird. I guess he's like kind of a druid or something is what they're going for. Lovely staff. And an alternate headpiece for the staff. Might switch to that one actually. And a bendy tail for him. Looks great. Nice motion. I don't feel like this is going to break or anything by bending it, so it's very cool. Oh, and I forgot that they always put a swivel on the tails here, which is nice. So you can like pose it around without like actually bending it if you need to. God, I really, really like this paint job on the reptilian skin parts. This looks very good. Nice pair of pauldrons, very basic, which I actually really like these a lot. And you would think that these are not painted parts, but they even bothered to paint the little straps here. And we got some belts. Always nice to get more belts. An awesome alternate head with the open mouth. This looks fantastic. We got this satchel with the scroll. I really like this piece, so I'm happy to have another one. And he's got lots of hands. So we have a pair of fists, vertical gripping hands, horizontal gripping hands, and these cool outstretched hands on the figure. Damn it. It is time to reveal the mystery figure. So in the recent in-stock sale, you could pay 25 bucks to get a random figure from a selection of what I imagine they are trying to clear out of their warehouse. So the cool thing is that like the minimum value for any of the possible pulls was $37. So and like, you know, any Mythic Legions figure for 25 bucks is an absolute steal. So I went for it, and I just really hoped I didn't get a blue Hagnon. So can I get a drum roll, please, before we reveal this figure?
Behold the wizard!
It's Arazak, the evil wizard from a few waves ago. And this is an exciting pull for me because I don't have any of the Mythic Legions wizards yet, and I've been debating getting one for a while. So now I've got one. Let's open him. Where did that go? All right, here he is. Let's take a look at him. So this is my first one of these figures, although technically I guess it's my second because I do have the Ghost of Christmas Past figure, and he's kind of got the same construction, where what they do is they actually take one of their like slender 2.0 bodies, and then they put the soft goods over him to kind of give him that kind of old man, like more frail wizard look. And yeah, I think it definitely worked. I think this was a good idea. Although they have been moving away from that with their newer wizard figures. But yeah, this is like, these are nice soft goods, plenty of wiring, always nice. And the interesting thing here is that what they're doing with the head here is this is a 2.0 body, but this is a special neck peg that goes into the 2.0 body, but has a 1.0 ball joint. So you can put 1.0 heads on this guy. And that means his heads could go onto 1.0 figures. And I have an idea for that. We will see. Okay, what about his stuff? Let's take a look. So we've got this really cool evil wizard staff. I love this. It's really fun to kind of get some older Mythic Legions figures that have these really interesting, unique parts. And I really dig this. This is great. And we got a belt, but this is the first time I've seen one of these on a Legions figure where it's a belt that you can take off without having to slide it off of the figure because it's got a tab. Neat. And we got some trinkets that can hang on belts. I think there might have been one more of these and I sent it flying while unpackaging, so I will find it at some point, but these are great. I love all these little bottles. We've got this awesome mantle. It's kind of like a combined set of shoulder pads. So like these will go into the back slots and give them a very cool, a little bit armored look. This is nice. This awesome angry alternate sculpt with red eyes. Very cool, very evil. Love the flowing beard too. Got two different like magic lightning effects. Like I like that this isn't just a pair of matched pieces. They're different. So like one's a little longer than the other. So these will just kind of nicely slide over the arm so he's like, you know, casting magic at you. And we've got lots of hands. We got these outstretched magic hands. And it's cool that these are not identical. So like if you have him using both of these shooting magic, I like that they're a little different. These are cool. They're like, yeah, I love that they're almost skeletal. Like they're very, like, you know, old man, frail wizard hands. I kind of wish the fingernails were painted, but that's okay. I guess wizards don't really paint their nails, do they? And we got another pair of gesturing hands. This is another kind of like magic gesture. Very cool. And we got a pair of vertical gripping hands. And a pair of horizontal gripping hands are already on the figure. If you don't position him right, he looks really silly. But yeah, that's our evil
wizard.
So, we have unboxed our figures. I'm going to clean up this mess that's all around me, and then we are going to start making new figures. See you in a sec. Oh, I forgot Mr. Ardenscale's very nice wired cloak. All right, here's everybody out. Who are we going to customize first? I think we're going to go with the Terpiculi, because I know what I want to do with him right away. So, in a previous video, I created this awesome monstrosity. I basically just took the Mouse King crazy like headpiece and put it on Maxilius the Harvester and then populated it with skeleton heads instead of mouse heads, and I was pretty happy with it. I thought he looked very cool, but over time, like this skeleton body is just not cutting it as far as like staying upright with this, so we are going to upgrade him to an even more like Dark Souls-y, crazy skeleton monster. So what I want to do with him is make him more of like a quadruped to really hold up that super heavy headpiece with all these skeleton heads on it. So I'm going to switch around some parts. I might move these big arms up here. So yeah, I'm going to try and put that figure together now, and I will show it to you now. All right, look at this guy. Now this is like a Souls boss for sure. I am very happy with this. So the cloth goods are actually from a Forge Knight kit that's made for the Headless Horseman, actually, the figure Obscura one. But it just works so perfectly here. And I love like the big long arms so that he is a lot more sturdy when he's standing on the shelf. And yeah, but otherwise, like, you know, it's a Terpiculi with the Mouse King headpiece and all these great skulls on it. But and yeah, and he's got the tail and everything, so he actually balances quite well. Check that out there. So I love this idea that he's kind of like, you know, he's kind of quadrupedal at first, but in true like Soulsborne boss fashion, he could like rear up. So if I stand him up now, so these hands were like, you could have them hold something if you slid something in, but not a lot of weapons work with that. So what I did was I took an X-Acto knife and just kind of gently did a little cut right here so I could get the thumb disconnected from the fingers. And that allowed me to also do something very cool. So in phase 2, you know, he like says some nonsense and he's rallying and he's... So, you know, when you get like his health bar down like halfway, he'll rear up and say something like, "Oh, if only I had known all along blah, 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 you know, something that like only makes sense if you read the item descriptions. And then he like reaches over and just pulls out like this gigantic scythe. Let's get this in his hand. Now it's not perfect because the fingers are kind of more, it's almost like a gorilla's like knuckles is what's going on. Like I think that's what they were going for. But since I did that cut on the thumbs, I can get this into his hand. Here we go. So now, there we go. So now look at that. Look at that. This guy is terrifying. I love that. Playability, you know, he's definitely a little flimsy. Like this Mouse King piece, like I don't think it ever really stayed on any of the possible ball joints, but you know, I might throw some sticky tack in there just to give it a little bit more friction, but it does mostly stay on. And then you can get this guy into some super cool, terrifying Soulsborne boss poses. I mean, look at that. That is ridiculous. That would be right at home in like an Elden Ring or something. And he's a good size too. Like he, but yeah, he's a good size. I mean, like you take like an Elden Ring Figma, for example, have them square off, and that looks pretty cool. Like he's not gigantic, but he's like a good like kind of mid boss size. So yeah, that's a pretty good scale. I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, that is our like amped up Lich King Terpiculi Dark Souls boss monster guy. I'm very happy with him. Like I was actually like surprised how well I was able to get that robe over him. Like the sleeves are actually going through the smaller second pair of arms, and so everything except for like the big headpiece stays on just fine. So kind of like the way to pose him up is take that huge piece off, position him the way you want, then just pop it on. All right, time for our next figure. Let's get you out of here, buddy. Oh, and as for the figure that huge headpiece was sitting on before, he now looks like this. So I'm actually really happy with this too. I love the way this particular head looks with the hood on. Like when you got it down and just the teeth are showing through, like that is awesome. And yeah, otherwise it's basically just Maxilius the Harvester. He doesn't have the like the shoulder mantle on because I went with these skeleton wings. So this guy's kind of like a flying undead lich type deal. And I think he's gonna look very cool, kind of like hovering over my skeleton army. Now if he could just hold on to that scythe. So yeah, another really great figure that came out of just a few part swaps. All right, next up is Koi. So I know exactly what I want to do with him. He is going to get the green armor that is currently on this figure. I do want to retain all his orange fishy bits, so there will be, you know, some parts of this armor that are not used, but I think in general, like that's just going to be a very cool look for him. So let's try that out now, see what we can do with this guy, and also see where these parts end up. So a funny thing I realized while working on this guy is that this arm piece is much longer than this one, so we are going to lose a little bit of his proportions. So what I ended up doing was I used the arm extenders that Beige Customs came up with, and they are fantastic. It just so happens that the black ones blend in perfectly with these gauntlets. So even though we are using much smaller forearms now, you get pretty close to what the original arm length was. So I think he is going to look just fine proportionally when he is done. All right, here's our fish. I really like how this turned out. I wasn't expecting things to match up so perfectly. Like I actually kept the belt he came with, and that black leather matches the black on these pieces. So he looks very cohesive. I also added these beads that came with the Ninian infantry. I think that worked out really well. One thing I still need to fix is this piece, because it doesn't match anymore, because now he doesn't have any brown like wooden armor. So what I think I'm going to do is just hit this with some green and see if it matches. All right, I think this is a pretty good paint match. Still wet, drying, you know, I get excited about these things, but This is Citadel contrast paint, orc flesh, and I think it matches pretty well, especially once it dries, and it might need another coat or two, so you'll probably see that in the B-roll. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this guy. I'm glad he kind of ended up as sort of a fusion of like Japanese and Chinese mythology with being a koi fish, but also kind of having like the Chinese-inspired armor. All right, let's see what figures I was able to make using the parts I took off of him. And we ended up with two. This guy was actually made from like I kind of just started with the cloth parts that I took off of this guy, the like kind of light brown here, and I realized how good it looked with the Dubon armor. So I just kind of ran with that, and I remembered how much I wanted to use the Broder head. So yeah, that's what this guy is. I think he turned out great. Not too flashy, but I actually really like that about him. He's just a pretty cool kind of medium armored Viking guy. And I threw this like tattered scarf that I bought randomly a while ago on there. And yeah, I think he looks very cool. Nice and simple little Viking guy. A little nice and simple Viking guy. And here we have, I don't even know what to call this guy. I guess he's just kind of an upgrade to the Jagualian that was wearing the green armor. The Jagualian that was wearing the green armor before. It was interesting, like I was trying to find a match for these lower legs here. It's interesting because he's got, you know, like kind of the more like knightly knee pads followed by the wooden armor. And that was really throwing me for a while. And then I remembered I had these gunmetal armory knight upper arms here, and putting those with these lower arms made them match the legs pretty well. And yeah, he's got Koi's weapon and shoulder pads. I think this guy looks great. Kind of a, I don't even know like what really to call him, but he is very cool, and I think he looks cohesive. This guy's also rocking some pants from Dagobi Customs. I really like these because they do a really smart thing where the pants are actually like sewn closed, except for a peg hole. So you slide the leg into the pants and then pop the peg out, and then you attach the lower leg, and the pants stay nice and tucked in. So you're not going to have them like sliding up the leg while you're doing poses and stuff. It just stays nice and secure. So yeah, definitely check them out. I will link their Instagram. They make cool pants, and they're also pretty active on like the Mythic Legions Cabal. So you'll see them kind of showing off new soft goods that they're selling pretty regularly. So I really like these, and I will be buying more stuff from them. So here's two cool new figures I made just from messing around with the parts that I took off of Koi. All right, let's move on. Okay, Mr. Ardenscale. So I've been messing around with this guy for a little bit, and he was like, "I will not be popped and swapped." And I was realizing how much I really like just this look. So what I think I'm gonna do is kind of just try to like amplify this idea. Like, you know, he came with fists, and like the more I mess around with him, he just kind of feels almost like a martial artist a bit. So I really want to try and lean into, So I really want to try and lean into that. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go through my parts and see if like I can kind of maintain this overall look, but really just like kind of, you know, like up the aura a bit, as the kids say. So I'm going to do that now. Sometimes less is more. And that is definitely the case with this guy. I mean, look at him. This looks fantastic. And all I really did was I gave him the Turpiculi belt so that I could get some more articulation around the hips. And I added this red scarf, and he just looks so friggin' cool. He is like an ultimate like snake martial artist guy. You know, I did mess around with some other equipment. You know, I tried to give him nunchucks on a belt and a sword and some other stuff, but none of it was really as cool as him just being like an unarmed fighter. And yeah, I'm really happy with him. A very simple but very kind of like charismatic look. So yeah, this was definitely one of the simpler ones, but I think it might be one of my favorite for the video. I just love how much character he has. Like it's just a nice simple color scheme, and he is going to be right at home in like my kind of martial arts animals display that I got going on. Yeah, this guy's cool. Oh, and while I was messing around, I also found a much cooler weapon for Koi. I was actually surprised I was able to get this through these belt loops. Whatever plastic that Four Horsemen are using for their belts, I love it because it is super stretchy and allows me to do crazy stuff like this. So we got a really cool sword to go with Koi. I think these guys make like a really cool pair. I like them a lot. All right, we got one more. Well, one more in terms of like source figures or whatever I want to call them, because who knows how many figures I'm going to be able to upgrade from this guy's parts. But I got to see what's under these robes.
What?
Because like we might end up just like moving all these wizard bits to somebody else. So let's just go ahead and do that. See, this is cool because this is just a nice like slender blank black armored body. I think I have some ideas for this. Let's see what happens. See, since you can put 1.0 heads on and we could do something like this, which is kind of cool. Obviously we'd have to cover up that neck with some cloth goods, but there's something there. Maybe? Or maybe a shadow elf. You know, it would be cool to have another one. This might be the direction I go. And here we go. Look at her. I love this. So what I did was I kept the hood from Arzak and used an extra head from Manisha Cinderhorn. And this really came together when I stole the kind of like skirt piece from Swig.
Why did you take away my skirt?
Oh, I think you look better that way.
Oh. Thank you.
And put it around your shoulders. I really like this look with the hood. And I also grabbed, I had the sword from Baron Volgar, which had those little purple accents. So that just kind of really came together. Oh, you know what? I think I have a figure that could be like her rival or something. Yeah, check this out. I guess that means I just, you know, I do like big swords, so it doesn't surprise me that I ended up with a build like this. But yeah, I just think these two make a really cool pair, so I wanted to show that off. Maybe they're rivals, lovers, frenemies. Doesn't matter. I'm just happy to have these cool figures. All right, let's get you out of the way because you are not new. So you may be wondering where her brown leather armor came from. Well, she traded armor with an undead of Vikenfell, who I also gave Arzak's other evil wizardly stuff. So that is how we ended up with this, which I think looks fantastic. Like, you know, the obviously the black leather armor is just covered up by the robe, which is fine because it was, you know, it's unpainted, so not much detail there. But yeah, now we've got like an undead wizard. Like, I always really liked this skull head from the undead of Vikenhell, so I'm Vikenhell. You know what? Actually, like, that's like a good name, like the undead of Vikenhell instead of Vikenfell. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I just really like this undead wizard I made. Very, very fun. And we've got one more. So this is a wizard figure that I made in a previous video. He was using the Gideon head before, but I think this works way better. So he's just kind of like a heavily armored wizard. I added the potion bottles from Arzak too, and I freaking love this guy. Like, he is, of course, he is, I would definitely say this guy is like complete now. I love the kind of like veteran, you know, armored. I guess he's like more of like a battle mage because he's got swords and armor along with being able to use magic. So I guess he's like an older battle mage. I gotta rethink my setup because I am always knocking people over. As much as I love these savage stands, like when you're not actually using them as stands with the peg holes, they are kind of an uneven surface to put figures on. So yeah, that's effectively like kind of almost 2 new figures and an upgraded figure just from that little purple wizard. I freaking love Mythic Legions, man. I have so much fun making these videos. I think these are definitely my favorite ones to do. So yeah, from Arzak, I kind of created a brand new character and upgraded 2 others. And This is why I love doing these videos. It is so much fun. I don't always know what I'm going to end up with, and I hope it's fun to watch. It seems like they are. These are definitely some of my more successful videos, so I am going to keep doing them. Oh, and one more bonus figure. While I was messing around with stuff, I took a bunch of Mr. Arden Scales parts and put them on this guy. So I took the belt and the satchel and the shoulder pads and put them on this guy. And he looks great. I love the simplicity of him. I think he's like maybe like a courier who goes through dangerous territory or something. And like this is one of the few times where I was actually happy to just use one of the standard Mythic Legion swords. I think it works very well for kind of a more simple character like this. And again, like I just love this new part of the hobby that has developed when I started collecting Mythic Legions, Savage Crucible, all those. I mean, like, it has basically turned my office into like a messy craft person space, and I love that. Like, I always wanted to have a hobby where I was like doing more stuff with my hands, and I've always loved toys, so this was just like a perfect fit. I'm very, very happy about that. All right, I think we're all done. We got to wrap this thing up. It's probably way too long. All right, and here is our final roster for the video. This is crazy. Like I bought 4 figures and ended up with effectively with 10 new ones. I never would have thought I'd have this much fun collecting toys. Like this new like kind of tinkering and customization aspect is just like, it really unlocks something in me, and I'm having so much fun with it, and I'm glad that I can make these videos and share them all with you. This channel has really taken off, and I really, really appreciate the fact that people are like interested in this, because, you know, like there aren't many people in my life who would like listen to me talk about toys all day. Like, you know, like plenty of people are supportive, but like getting to like really nerd out and like talk about where parts came from and like how these figures came together and like what kind of characters they're turning into. The fact that I can like post videos and talk about that and people actually tune in and listen to me ramble, it just makes this hobby so much more fun. Like I'm really glad to say that like making these videos has like actually enriched my collecting hobby in a positive way. So that is why I'm going to keep doing it. Anyway, that is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you like watch the whole thing. Like, damn, man, this is probably like almost as long as like an episode of TV or something. So like if this was your entertainment for the evening after work, I'm glad I could provide that to you, and I really appreciate you picking me among the absurd number of other content that's out there. But yeah, that's it. Thanks again for watching. Bye.